Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about the movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio. Welcome to a movie film commentary track. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited to celebrate 30 years of one of my favorite Superman movies, Brian.
Yeah, I've never thought of this as a movie, but it really is. This is a whole 90-minute adventure.
So we're here to talk about the pilot episode of Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, which began airing on ABC 30 years ago, roughly as we are recording this.
Wow, that's wild.
Kind of crazy. I was beginning my freshman year when this show started. I think you were in 8th grade?
Yeah, 8th grade.
For me, the fact that this show lasted 4 years, I just associated with high school because it came in when I was a freshman and it ended when I was a senior. So
yeah, wow. Oh, that's fun.
This little time capsule for me. But as anyone listening knows, as Brian is painfully aware at this point, I am a Superman fanatic.
Well, that's why I was just saying right before we hopped on here, I'm like, I can't wait to do this. This is always fun to pick your brain about Superman because I like Superman, but getting to be in the room with a dedicated fan is always fun because I get to learn so much.
Well, definitely. When I knew the 30th anniversary was coming up for this, I'm talking like a couple of years back. I had like filed this away in my little mental Rolodex. I was like, we're gonna do this. This is gonna be a track.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. Sure. And by gum, I've twisted Brian's arm sufficiently. I've made him wake up early on a Sunday. And we're doing this, baby.
Yeah. I can't wait. This is such a, we did the Flash pilot recently, and that's something that I remember happening, but I don't recall very well. Right. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of fun to go back and, oh, yeah. I have seen this. I remember bits of this. This, I don't know why, but this show really did stick in my memory. Like this was a phenomenon in its time, if I recall correctly. So it was fun to go back and sort of like, yeah, I remember all of this. I remember, the actors and the tone and everything. So yeah, this was fun, and I might even like keep going. I'm kind of curious to watch a couple more.
Nice. Well, we are going to watch the pilot episode. So if anybody listening wants to watch along with us and get it queued up, we're going to go ahead and take a short break, and then when we come back, we will talk through the first episode of Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. And we are back and ready to go. Brian, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so we will start on 3, meaning I will count to 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we will hit play. So let's do it now. 1, 2, 3, play.
All right.
And there we go. And fun fact, when this episode first aired, it was actually shorter than the version that we're watching now by about 15 minutes.
Interesting. Okay.
So this entire opening title sequence, which is the same music that was used in the remainder of the series, was not in it. The titles actually aired over the footage.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Do you know what else was added? I'm kind of curious.
There's little bits and bobs I can point out for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely the opening sequence where we see Lois Lane return to the Daily Planet, that was not in the version that aired first on ABC.
That is hilarious. I even thought I liked it. I thought it was kind of funny. But then when it went to the next scene, I had this instinct inside that I was thinking, could you have lost that first part and been caught up in understanding what's happening in this next sequence? So that's funny that's how it was.
Yeah. Now this is the Warner Brothers backlot, which I think just because we're so used to seeing the backlot, we can sort of instinctively know.
But yeah, there's certain markers, especially if you visited it. There's the steps with the sort of columns. That's always a good giveaway.
Yeah.
Um,
I do think this opening shot right here as Lois walks in, it does do a nice job of laying out the geography of the Daily Planet, which is, such a central character, if you will, in the series.
yeah, almost like just a couple minutes in, was noticing the cinematography. I was like, this is really good. I mean, it's
Hmm.
lit really well. I love the camera work. It's like that old school kind of moving the camera a lot to reframe things, kind of classical feel that really soothes me.
Yeah.
So I saw it was directed by Robert Butler, so I got to shout him out.
Robert Butler, amazing filmography. He did the pilot episodes of the original Star Trek, Batman
Oh wow,
66, Hill Street Blues, Remington Steele. I mean, the pilot episodes, Hogan's Heroes,
wow.
you know. So definitely sort of a good luck charm, and it shows, I think.
Yeah, no, I thought the look of this show, it's like I say, it's sort of this classical feel.
They shot it like a movie. Yeah,
They
so
shot it like a
originally it
movie.
started here. The episode started with Lois walking right here.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like we go from title to Lois in, and then the credits are playing like over this.
And it's perfect because it's her being introduced like, "You've done it again, Lois,"
That's right.
like
Yeah.
that kind of a thing.
There's I'll point out the little moments in here where it if you can't already tell, you'll be like, oh, it's very obvious that that wasn't in the original version that aired.
Along those lines, I thought this pilot held up really, really well.
Hmm.
The only thing that I think you could say shows its age at all was its pace. And what I mean by
Yeah.
that is I don't it wasn't necessarily like the story or script or anything, but it's just they speak a little more casually. Where I feel like, you know what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
not even like bad. It's not like they're speaking slowly, but just compared to something that would air now, you can imagine it at a slightly faster clip, you
Yeah, I
know?
think so. Yeah.
But other than that, that was the only thing to me that felt like, oh, I almost like listening to a book on Audible at like 0.80 or something, like not quite at one.
Now, Michael Landis, who plays Jimmy Olsen, I really liked him, and
Yeah.
it was unfortunate they replaced him after the first season, not even the first episode, the first season, because they wanted someone who was more of a heartthrob. Which I have to imagine, if you're Michael
Hmm.
Landis, that's got to sting a little bit.
I, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm a heterosexual man, but he looks fine to me. Like,
Looks fine to me.
I don't know. I don't know who they replaced him with, but
Yeah, an actor named Justin Whalen, who he'd been around. They wanted somebody to sort of compete on the cover of Teen Beat with Jonathan Brandis, who was on Sequest at the same time, if you remember.
oh, interesting.
So
Um,
Dean Cain, he was 26 years old, I think, at the time.
okay.
Uh, very. What's funny is that, in terms of, actually, no, he would have been like 25 because in 1968. But regardless, he was about the same age as Christopher Reeve, who I think was
Hmm.
24 when he first played the role. But when Dean Cain came in, they were like, he looks too young. He looks like a super boy.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
I don't, because I just kind of took this at face value, and I was like 14 when this show aired. So I was like, I don't know, it looks like Superman to me.
Same, same. And so it's sort of that phenomenon too. We talk about where you see something as a kid, like an actor, and then now that you're even older than the actor, they're still sort of locked in your brain as like older than you or something, or
That's right.
like an adult, quote unquote.
Right.
I mean, he looks like a grown man to me, even though he's like almost half my age.
Terry Hatcher, by the way, she was I think 28 when she acted in this, and um, she was born in the Bay Area. She was born in Sunnyvale, which is
Yay!
just down the road from where I live, and she attended De Anza College, which is a school where I teach.
Oh, funny.
You know,
She is
so
so good. Like if she's like easily
yeah,
top Lois Lanes of all time, right? She's
I
got to
think so,
be.
absolutely. Well,
She's just
and I. I,
yeah.
I think she had more experience at this stage than Dean Cain, but it's not like she had acted in a ton of stuff. But I think that she is so good that she sort of makes up for some of Dean Cain's obvious inexperience.
Sure.
right? Like, and I don't think he's bad in this, but I think you can tell that this is one of his first major acting roles.
Yeah, and you could almost, yes, definitely, but you could almost then apply it to the Clark Kentness of it all
I
a little
agree.
bit. I mean, I guess maybe if you're being a little charitable or whatever, but like I thought he was fine. But Lois, Terry Hatcher rather, I was like, man, it's such a hard thing, I think, to play plucky, but also love struck,
Yep.
like go getter, vulnerable, but also tough as nails. Like, and I just thought she nailed all of it.
I mean, I have to imagine, certainly, like this show sort of came on at the right time for us, but I mean, a lot of people had crushes on Terry Hatcher because of
Oh,
Lois
for
Clark.
sure. Yeah. I mean, even watching this, I was like, I didn't know this at the time, but she's got a real sort of Phoebe Cates thing going on too,
Hmm.
and
I thought that
there's
at the
nothing wrong
time.
with that.
I remember the very first publicity still I saw of her with Dean Cain. I was like, oh my gosh,
Mm,
she looks like Phoebe Cates. So
yeah.
So the character Cat Grant, who's played by Tracy Scoggins, she's from the comics, but she had only just
Mm,
been introduced a couple of years earlier in the John Byrne relaunch of Superman, which this entire show is heavily, heavily indebted to that, to the post crisis reboot of Superman, which started from just the ground up. And I've said before on our show that that's really where I came into the comics,
mm.
and so I have a deep affinity for that. So for me, it was like, wow, this it's like it's the version I'm reading in the comics right now.
That's so cool. What were those sort of new touches in that?
Foremost among them that uh, that Clark is who he is, and Superman is the
Mm,
mask he puts on, right? And that was something that really John Byrne ran with, and I think that's what made it's certainly for me it's what made it compelling. Another addition that John Byrne made was he kept Jonathan and Martha Kent alive into his adulthood,
right.
and that's one of the best aspects of this show, and I think it's just one of the best aspects of the mythos. And whenever they kill off Jonathan Kent, which I think that makes for very compelling, I mean, it's a powerful moment whenever it happens, but I'm like, no, leave him alive, you know.
It's
Uh,
nice that he can touch base. He has
exactly.
people to bounce off of that understand him.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lane Smith is one of my favorite Perry White actors.
Oh man,
Uh,
yeah.
just terrific.
Yeah. And just in general, man, he was like the character actor of the
Oh yeah,
90s, right?
he was one of the all-time great Hey That guys.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think before this I had seen him in The Distinguished Gentleman. That might be and also he's in My Cousin Vinny, right?
Yes. Yes, he's
He's the
the
he's the
other lawyer.
the other attorney. So he had and he was in V the series. He'd been in a bunch of stuff.
Son-in-law,
Um,
let's not forget. Pauly
Son-in-law.
Shore classic.
Can I call you dad?
Honey.
Now the whole Elvis fandom, that was a Lane Smith addition. Uh,
Ah,
and just kind of a little bit of character texture, but it really defined him as the show went on, much more so than in this. Although he does say great shades of Elvis in this, but I think the whole approach to this show is terrific, right? Because it's a love story that happens to have a superhero in it, and that seems sort of quaint now, I suppose. But I think
at the
that's what made
time.
it, yeah.
It's novel,
Um,
yeah.
it made it stand out, right? And I think also it allowed, especially during the first season, I think they recognized, look, we don't have a ton of money to throw at this
Yes.
show, and so it allowed them to narrow their focus in a pretty smart way.
You can easily see that as a pitch, right? And then that, like you say, you can make it affordable and a concept that could work for television. But what I love is this does still feel like a superhero show. It's not like you're watching it waiting for something exciting to happen because it's really just a romance with Superman in the title. Like I really think this is an awesome balance.
Well, and the show actually started, like initial idea for what became Lois and Clark started in 1989, and it started with Jeanette Kahn, who was the publisher of DC at the time, and her pitch was a show called Lois Lane's Daily Planet.
Hmm.
And kind of similar idea. It's about the workings of this newspaper, and all main characters are there, and oh yeah, Clark Kent is there, and occasionally we'll see Superman.
Mhm.
but it's really about Metropolis through the lens of the Daily Planet, and that development process eventually culminated in this. But what's kind of interesting is that the in the comic books at the time, so 89, right? Lois and Clark were dating.
Mhm.
And the plan in the comic books was, oh, we're going to eventually have them get married. And then, this show is being developed and it starts moving along. And then so or come around 92 thereabouts, they're like, well, if this show ends up happening and they do this relationship and Lois and Clark end up married, we should time it in the comics and the show at the same time.
Mm.
And they were like, well, they're engaged in the comics right now. What do we do?
Right.
And somebody was like, well, why don't we just kill them off? And
Whoa, so that's how that came about.
yeah, so the death of Superman, which is one of the most important comic stories of all time, was because, hey, we got to kick the wedding down the road a little bit. What can we do to fill the time?
Wow. I mean, that was, like a news story at the time.
Yep. And it was
Wow.
all because of the Lois and Clark show in development at the time.
That is so funny.
And then, of course, the ironic thing is that, the news coverage of Superman's death really supercharged Superman in the public
Yeah.
eye. And that's what led to the show getting greenlit, et cetera, et cetera. And they timed it such that Superman came back to life in the comics about 2 weeks before Lois and Clark premiered.
Oh, funny. Ha!
Yeah.
Well, it's great. Great synergy.
This effect right here is one of those old school effects, but it still works.
Yeah, 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 you got the room, right? That's, what do you call it,
It's
like on
on
a
a
gimbal
gimbal.
or something?
Yep,
Or what's that called? The rotating thing, but the
that's right.
camera is fixed, so it looks like someone's walking on the walls. Now, was this both of these in the pilot? Because I felt like it was a little redundant. Either he fixes the light bulb or he walks around the room. I kinda was like, "Yeah, you could have chosen one," I think.
My recollection is both of them were.
Mhm. I guess you don't do the build a spinning room and not include it.
That's right.
For me, my preferred one, though, was the, him laying in bed with the flickering light, and then he floats up to
hmm What's
which I
also
thought looked pretty
interesting is
good.
I think so. I think most of the effects, certainly in this one, hold up pretty well.
Yeah.
They've remastered this show, and it definitely looks great. But
Oh, you
you
can
can
tell.
tell the effect sequences. They've had to up-res them.
Mhm.
So like you'll see it, if you're watching, it'll suddenly shift to slightly lower resolution because an effect is about to happen.
Right, right,
Because otherwise they'd have to recomposite all the effects, which they can't do.
right, right. But yeah, this is HD, I suppose. It looks like they went
Yeah,
back to the original film and
it holds up pretty well, and they shot the film, I think, with an eye towards releasing it theatrically internationally. I don't know that they did, but
mm,
there's a slightly more feature look to the pilot.
less so with the others. Because yeah, I was, like I say, I was really struck by the look of this. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, and obviously you have more time, more money for a pilot, so
Sure.
there's that as well.
So what about Lois's sister here? What's her, comic history? Does she continue through the series?
So she is a character in the comic books, and she's also actually a character in the Supergirl television. No, sorry, not the television show, the film,
Mm,
with Helen Slater. But she only appeared in a handful more episodes of this series,
mhm.
and then she just kind of faded out.
Yeah, it seems like there
So
were,
sorry.
yeah,
When I said series just now,
yeah.
Siri turned on in my.
Oh, I think I sorta heard it, but I didn't, register. I'm noticing more and more with my watch, like, I'll just be having a conversation with someone, I'll look down and she's writing down paragraphs of what I'm saying, I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what did I do? How did I activate this?"
That's creepy, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
So this bit right here was not in the initial airing where Lois is crying while she's watching the soap opera,
I can see that, I can see
right?
that.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of deleted scenes energy.
Yeah, and I kinda I thought it was fine, but I thought it lingered, this scene. I
Yeah,
was waiting for it to cut, and then it just kept going. That's so
yeah.
interesting.
Now this bit right here, I love it as just a
Yes.
way of contextualizing Clark. And I mean, this pilot, and I remember watching when it aired, and maybe there was a little bit of me that was like, "When are they gonna get to the fireworks factory?" You know?
Yes.
But but definitely as a grown up or a somewhat of a grown up, I just Clark is an interesting character. I love Clark Kent, and so we're spending time with him. We're getting to know him, and I love that he finds an angle on this story that
Mhm.
no one else had. You know,
Yep. Yep. This is yes, this is like the perfect way if you're gonna make TV to do like a Superman slash Clark sort of character moment that feels, inherent to the character, but doesn't have to cost a crap load of money, you know?
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I did feel bad for this guy though. I was like, oh, he's gonna have to fix that tractor.
He's union. He can take coffee break. You know,
Yeah.
I like the little uh, texture of Clark pulling down his glasses before he uses heat vision, because that's something that always bugs me when they have his
Right.
heat vision shoot through his glasses, because I'm like, well, his glasses would melt.
That is a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
I also,
yeah.
sorry, just real quick. I also like that they have Clark wearing his glasses before he becomes Superman, and that's one of those things where you might be
Mm,
like, "Well, why would he do that? Doesn't make sense." But it's like, again, that's this version of Clark. The idea that he says it later. He's like, I want to fit in. I just want to be normal." And there's just something about wearing glasses that unconsciously makes you seem vulnerable,
mhm, mhm.
right? And so he before he even creates this persona, he's made this choice to sort of you know try to blend in and just fit in, even if he doesn't need those glasses.
Yeah, so if I am to think of this correctly, typically it's he's Superman, but I want to go do this, so I'm going to become Clark Kent and put on this costume, these glasses fit in, whatever. But here he arrives in Metropolis as Clark Kent, and
Yeah,
this is now I choose to be Superman, so I have to create a costume and
that's right.
yeah, flip flopping it a little bit. Hmm.
I mean, the other thing is they give Clark the Superman hair,
Huh. Yeah.
right? And Superman has the slicked back, what would normally be like the Clark Kent hair.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, here's one of those shots you're talking about.
Yeah, you can tell right away, right?
Yeah,
It's
not
a
high
resolution.
definition. Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was gonna say, thinking of the Flash coming out a couple years earlier, and pretty much, I mean, a lot of the superhero stuff was coming in the wake of Batman '89, right?
Hmm.
So it's like, well, let's make a Flash show, and the Flash show is so obviously uh, trying to sit on the shelf, like with the sound design and the look and the darkness and the whatever the vibes of Batman '89, right? Right down to the Danny Elfman opening theme, and this is really interesting because it doesn't feel like that. And I was gonna say like the films that came afterwards too. You think of like The Shadow and those like it still felt like they were sort of chasing that Batman kind of Tim Burton aesthetic.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I love that it's kind of its own classical thing, and it's like it goes for
Yeah.
that thing where you don't know what year it is exactly, right?
Yeah, right. That's true.
Like it's just yeah, exists in its own time. It's got its own voice, its own vibe. I like that it's not going for trying to feel like Tim Burton's inspired Superman or
Yeah.
something.
Which we would have gotten a couple years later, but I guess that's a separate conversation.
Right, right, yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, this
yeah,
this show arrived at sort of this weird interregnum between Superman projects, because uh, it wasn't that long after the last Christopher Reeve movie. When you think about it, I mean, it's about about 6 years, which isn't a ton of time.
yeah.
Uh,
Not. It probably would have seemed like it at the time, but now, wow, I didn't
yeah,
realize it was
that's
so
nothing,
close.
right? And
Yeah.
bear in mind, in between there was the Superboy television show, which aired from '88 to '92.
See, I don't have any memory of that.
Yeah, that aired in syndication. So for us, it was on WPWR, like Saturday
Okay.
afternoons. But that was produced by the Salkinds.
Okay.
And oh, by the way, right, uh, this bit of banter right here. This is total like moonlighting, right?
Oh,
Like,
totally. Yeah.
and she's like. Do you get that or comprende? And he goes, "You like to be on top. Got it."
Yeah, that stood out to me too. I was like, that's so the ooh, this dialogue crackles like
Now, now, now,
romantic, yeah,
now,
primetime
as a kid,
TV.
I just watched that at face value. I didn't think anything of it. Okay, because I was a naive little kid, and then I read like a TV guide or something. It's like this one's aimed more at adults. She says he says you like to be on top. Got it. And then the author's like, yeah, we get it too. And I was like, oh, I was like Bill Hader in that SNL, Oh.
Err.
'Cause I didn't know that was a thing until this. So really, I guess TV Guide corrupted me more than Lois and Clark.
But you know that's like what they were going for, right? Yeah, like moonlighting meets meets
Oh yeah.
Superman, and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
but
I
what's
think it's
funny,
succeeded.
because this is it's like vaguely sexy, this show, but let's be honest, it's pretty safe family viewing,
This pilot, at least, I was wondering because even as a kid, I remember this show was like quote unquote like sexy. It's
Yeah,
like the will they won't they of it. Like I
yeah,
picked up on that vibe for sure. But I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen it since the '90s, so I don't remember if it went too far in the sexy relationship direction or if it went too far
not
into the
really.
action
If anything,
direction. I mean,
if
did they
if
they
anything,
thread the needle successfully?
I would say that the first season did a very good job of balancing sort of being a little bit more grown up with the superhero stuff, and then after the second season, it leaned more into being sort of a family action show. Uh,
Okay.
Unfortunately, I would say,
Now, wasn't the showrunner Deborah Joy Levine?
yeah, she was
She
replaced after the first season.
I was gonna say, right? So it
Yeah,
that's interesting. So
yeah, and
maybe,
and her loss was felt, in my opinion, because I
yeah.
think because I think this show, the first season, I think is fantastic. I think if there was nothing past the first season, you've still got a really great show.
Mm-hmm.
They did a really nice job of having a variety of episodes. They built the relationship in a meaningful way. I think the from the second season on, I think it became a little bit more ordinary, and I think that's enjoyable too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think the first season was really something special.
Okay.
You know, but during, and in fact, by the way, like 2 weeks after the pilot episode of Lois and Clark, we had this other show called NYPD Blue, where
Whoa.
the cold open has a character being like, "Ipsit you pissy little bitch."
Right, right,
So,
right.
so, so kind of ABC was just kind of spanning the different tones.
Yeah, as I say, change was in the air. I mean, that speaking of news stories, I mean, that show was a news story,
Oh
you
yeah,
know? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's interesting. It was, yeah, I guess it was a shift in it was a moment in television.
Let's pause for Dr. Evelyn Evilman here.
Yes.
She, all she needs is a mustache to twirl.
Yes. That's so funny. But I love
But
that this is a good moment for Lois, right? Where it's like, "Oh, I can't get this woman, I can't manipulate her, but Clark can."
yeah,
'Cause she's attracted to Clark.
and can you blame her, Brian?
I cannot. Oh,
I was reading
looking up.
about
Yeah, yeah, good.
I was reading about how, I think we might be saying the same thing. The other people who were in line for this role, Kevin Sorbo was apparently one of the finalists.
That's so interesting. You can see why. I mean, because of his sort of build and whatnot, but I don't think he has the face for it. Like, he is more of a
I
Hercules
Yeah,
sort of, yeah.
supposedly that fall of '93, Kevin Sorbo was in the mix to play Clark Kent, Fox Mulder, which was also that same year,
Oh, wow.
um, John Kelly on NYPD Blue. Speaking of which, so like all these characters, and then he ended up playing Hercules, and I'll leave aside any commentary about whether that was the right role for him.
Right.
Um, TV syndication is where he belonged, but Dean Cain was one of the first people that they read, and at the time he had in terms of acting, he had been like Shannon Doherty's boyfriend on 90210, and I remember those episodes he appeared on.
Hmm.
So I remember being like, "Wait, that guy?"
Yeah.
you know. But I think it worked out.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, I gotta call that out real quick. I when they were talking to the scientist, I was thinking it felt a little stagnant. I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
this should have been a walk and talk," like and I was like, "Oh, well,
There you
maybe."
go.
Well, I was like, "Maybe they don't have the, the budget or the maneuverability wherever they were." And then it's like the next shot is Lois and Clark doing this really complicated walk and talk, with the camera swiveling around and pillars. I was like, "Oh, there it is."
By the way, I love how whenever Cat Grant shows up, we get the sexy sax music playing just to
Yes.
just to let you know, yeah, she's one of those, devils in red or whatever, like
Yeah. I wondered if now you've said that she was in the comics, but I felt like she could have been an invention for the show just to give a foil for Lois in terms of her attraction to Clark. So
Yeah,
I can
well,
see why that
they
character was there.
dialed up her sorta like the whoreness of it,
Sure.
um, a lot, and I think the character never worked on the show. She didn't last past the 1st season, and I think it's because to your point, like, she wasn't an actual foil,
Yeah, she's a little cartoony, and this
a little
show
cartoony.
weirdly doesn't feel very
Ye
cartoony.
Right.
But yeah, it makes sense, like, to have, like, a woman who's attracted to him. Like, well, if you aren't interested in him, I am, just to give Lois a little jealousy.
Supposedly, when Dean Cain came in to read, all the women, on the, on the floor or whatever, maybe some men too, I don't know, were, like, wanting to, like, watch him read, and so
And
at
there you
that
go.
point at that point, the producer's like, "Okay, I think he's our guy,"
Yeah, you gotta pay attention to that.
And he was drafted by the Buffalo Bills.
I was gonna bring that's what I was gonna bring up earlier, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and he got a career-ending injury in training camp.
Ugh, can you imagine?
Ain't that some shit?
But this is crazy. He played college football at Princeton and set some record for, like, interceptions, and he dated Brooke Shields. Like,
Yeah.
like, he was hot
Well, I
stuff
mean, a whole
already
other people
before,
too. Gabrielle Reese, the volleyball player, and I mean,
yep.
he had some good luck, which understandably because I mean, he looks like that.
Yeah.
He is, by the way, a quarter Japanese, which sort of accounts for his sort of exotic look.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And really, when you think about it, it's the first time a minority actor has played Superman.
Yeah. Just watching this with the sound off, they have such, like, a good rapport, don't they?
I think the chemistry is what makes it, right? Because I think you have to believe that Clark is madly in love with her, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And so she has to convey this pigheadedness and this vulnerability. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not an easy trick.
Yep, yep.
And that's kind of like for me growing up, I was never like in love with Margot Kidder as Lois Lane,
Same.
right?
Yes.
And that's not meant to in any way meant to
No.
impugn her, but I mean, I bought it because the story required it, but for me, watching Terry Hatcher was the first time where I was like, oh, yeah, no, I get it.
Same for me, honestly. Yeah, that's what I'm
This is
saying,
great.
like,
I
that
love this.
character is such a complicated mix of things,
Yeah,
and I just feel like Terry Hatcher really nailed all of it.
yeah.
What were you gonna say? Sorry about
I
was
just
about the
I
scene.
love this sequence right here. This is the first time that we see him soar,
Mhm.
and it's a neat way of that idea of like, oh yeah, of course, let me just give you some money first. Like that's that's such a Clark thing to do.
Yeah.
This shot was in the opening credits every week.
Ah, okay.
And it's not bad,
I was gonna
in
say,
terms
yeah.
of, like, comparing to the Christopher Reeve films, it's not terrible.
For, like, 1993 or something on TV, yeah.
That's right. That shot where he lands was maybe could have been a little
That's a
better,
little dodgy, but
but bear in mind that back then, for audiences who were accustomed to, the Christopher Reeve films, well, this idea of like, "Oh, yeah, his parents are alive and he just goes and hangs out with them," well, that was somewhat new.
Mhm. Yeah.
But that was the status quo that I was used to from the comic books.
Right.
Eddie Jones, who plays Jonathan Kent, he was Malcolm in The Rocketeer.
Yes. Yeah.
and he's also he's the heavy in Sneakers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's funny. I knew I recognized him, and I didn't put it all together, but wow.
Yeah, both Eddie Jones and Kay Kalan as Jonathan Marlowe, they're so great.
Yeah.
I love how they're partners in his sort of creation of the Superman identity, and just the folksiness, but they're more modern, right? They're not like 1930s farmers like
Right.
Glenn Ford, in the '78 movie.
Right, right. So tell me about the big city, that kind of thing. Yeah. Here they have them automobiles. Yeah.
That's Well, it's funny because with the sliding timeline, I mean, in this show, they would have found Clark like in the late '60s, probably, right, or
Yeah.
thereabouts, right? And versus like whenever his ship lands in the '78 movie, it's weird how like now, the Kents find Clark in the early 2000s, like
Right. Right. That's sort of that thing with The Simpsons, right? Where they keep changing Homer and Marge's story.
that's right.
So, so it's like it first made sense for me because it was like my parents, it's like late 70s, early 80s or something. And then all of a sudden,
Hmm.
Homer, when he's a kid, he's in a grunge band. I'm like, what? Because no, that would be
Yeah, right.
me, you know?
That's right.
Like that was my youth. And then it's like, yeah, it's weird. But yeah, so it goes.
See, this right here, this is the mission statement of the series, right?
Hmm.
Just living a normal life, that's what he wants. And I love that dichotomy that they've still imbued him with the sense of responsibility of saying, but I can't waste this gift that I have,
Hmm.
and how do I balance that? How being a normal guy and still be a superhero,
Right.
Now, in most tellings, this scene right here would be the moment where Jonathan Kent clutches his chest
Right.
and has a grabber, and I'm glad that we don't do that,
Yep. Same. Well, they also allude to the fact that Clark has spent some time going around the world,
That's right.
right? And that's not always a part of Superman's story, right?
Yeah, not so much, and it wasn't even something, I think John Byrne alluded to it a little bit. It's actually front and center in a comic book series from around 2002 called Birthright that really gets into that idea of him having seen so much of the world, and he sees all the different, the suffering and poverty and everything else, and he helps wherever he can
Hmm.
before he comes to Metropolis. And I like that as an aspect of him.
Same. Yeah.
Now Lex Luthor here, by the way, Terry Hatcher, uh, it
Yeah. This
cuts quite a
reminded me,
figure
like, oh
in that
yeah, I have
dress.
a crush on Terry Hatcher. Like, it'd been a while.
It's been a while. So John Shea is honestly one of my very favorite Lex Luthor versions
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's
He makes
completely
sense.
different from any other version,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know. And I think that's kind of the cool thing about Lex, right? Like Superman, there's sort of a box, and within that box you have some flexibility, but you got to stay in that box. But compare all the different Lex Luthors we've had.
Yeah.
We've got Gene Hackman, obviously, Sherman Howard on the Superboy show, John Shea here, Michael Rosenbaum on Smallville, et cetera. So, I mean, they're all so different.
Hmm.
What's Jesse Eisenberg, his Lex Luthor, which I'm not a big fan
Right.
of, but it's about as different as it gets. And I think that's really cool, though, is that that character you can come at it from any number of ways,
Right.
you know. But this version is a really interesting synthesis of what was in the comics at the time, which the idea of corporate magnate Lex Luthor that came in with the '80s reboot, but that version of Lex was older, like he was a contemporary of Perry White's,
Mm.
and they had this story where he faked his death and he ascended because he had cancer or something like that. He cloned himself
Huh.
and he was in a younger body, but he called himself Lex Luthor the second,
Huh.
like he was his own son, and he had hair, and he was like everybody thought that he was a good guy,
Mhm, mhm.
but he was Lex Luthor. And so the John Shea version is kind of more like that,
Right.
where he's the benefactor on the outside, but actually he's.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, Shoot, I had like 3 thoughts.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
sorry.
no, 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 no. That's it was off of what you were saying, and then I was going to what you were saying made me think of something, and then I got distracted because I remember watching this scene. I thought there was too much lightning. I thought they should have saved some of the lightning because it would have made some fun dramatic impact, but they just kept doing it. I was like, no, no, no,
Oh, that's
like,
really funny.
only use it when you need it. But there's a lot of it. But yeah, no, he's see, right? It just keeps going and going.
See, I
Um,
needed something where him and Lois are like, look at that guy. He must have been king of the Wicker people.
yeah, exactly. Yes, I love that. This is great. This is great. Right, this interplay here between Lex and
Hmm.
Clark, and then
Yeah,
him knowing exactly, like, yeah, I know where that sword's from. Like,
because I got it in Japan. That's what he says.
right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you know the like the interplay. You're talking about Cat Grant earlier as a foil, but like Lex and Clark being foils for Lois's affection, that works, and that's a thread that they play throughout the series,
Mm-hmm.
or at least the first season, because John Shea was only on it during the first season. But as a viewer, you're like, come on, she's got to see that he's a creep, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
But I love too that it's not like him pretending as Clark to like get that pointy thing away from me, kind of a thing. He's
oh, what
just
are you doing?
yeah, like he knows exactly where that sword came from, and Lex is like, oh, okay.
Well, I think, see, that's what's so interesting, right? Because Christopher Reeve, he approached the character. I mean, obviously that's where the script had it, but also like Clark has to be, a persona, because that's the only way in his mind that it worked,
Mm-hmm.
that Lois can't tell that Clark and Superman are the same guy. I think in this show, it's much more of a, as an audience, you really just kind of have to squint through it.
For sure. And by the way, I don't dislike that take. I think that's sort of it gives you a little bit of anguish where he has to
Right.
suppress himself, and that's kind of part of the fun of it. But in this take, I guess in particular, I like that Clark, Lex can be like, "Oh, who's this guy?" Like I
Yeah, like, I think the idea of Clark just being like a normal guy, right? Like, again,
yeah.
it's all about, like, because we're approaching it from the other direction from where
Mhm.
the Reap movies did, and I think that's smart, because those films had such an outsized role in people's concept of the character.
Mhm.
And certainly that's something that again, John Byrne dispensed with the mild mannered reporter thing. He had like, they allude to it a little bit in this movie too, but like, he in the comic books, Byrne had, Clark works out and stuff, because how do you explain him having such a big
Mm.
physique? So he had like a weight set in his apartment even though he didn't need it, stuff like that.
That's funny.
But also this version is indebted to the George Reeves version of Superman.
How so? I don't know a lot about that.
Yeah, well, George Reeves kind of the same thing. Where if you watch that, like, I think George Reeves is a great Clark Kent.
Mm.
He's a hard nosed investigative reporter. He's not particularly mild mannered.
Right.
He just doesn't call attention to himself, and I think that's a good take on the character. Again, it's like it it makes sense, especially for a show like that, where the old '50s show, because you're gonna spend more time with Clark than with Superman
Mhm.
because of the budget, and the same thing with a show like this.
Right. Right.
So you need to make Clark a character on his own. This actor, by the way, Sean Tube, who plays Asabi, he's in Iron Man. He's in the first Iron Man. He's Professor Yinsen, who Tony Stark is captured with.
Ah.
He's the one who says, Stark, don't waste your life.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
This is a cool little character beat where it's just a test that,
Yes.
can I
I
can I
agree.
can I be smarter than a snake,
Yeah. I
or
wasn't sure how I
or
felt
tougher?
about it as it was happening,
Mhm.
And then when it ended, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I like that." 'Cause look at this
If you, I don't know
tear.
if
You
you
see
can
his
see
tear?
he's crying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, that's the focus that he's, you know.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. It's
I actually just noticed. I've seen this pilot a million times. I just noticed that tear yesterday, watching it. In the super duper high def that we're
I was gonna
watching.
say, it has to be, yeah, the high def of it all. Um, but yeah, he's just like, "Thank you." You know? I was like,
Yep.
"Oh, okay." He's like testing himself.
It's really interesting because John Shea gave interviews where he was like, this version of Lex Luthor is more multifaceted and this and that. And I'm like, no, I disagree. He's just straight up evil and he loves being evil. And I kind of I like that.
Mhm.
Like he's just a bad guy, you know?
Yeah.
He
Now why
rejoices in that, you know?
totally. That was I like that shot, by the way. That was kind of a cool, like, spinning
It's
around
great.
him.
Well, we don't see smoking in shows and things anymore,
Yeah, yeah.
but there's definitely screen value in like the perfectly positioned wisp of smoke from a cigar, a cigarette, you know?
Agreed. By the way, I want those columns and those steps. That's what I was talking about earlier. If you see those in the background of a city, that's how you know you're at Warner Brothers.
You can
Um,
imagine, like a year later, the ER people were probably like around the corner
oh, there's
doing
the boom
doing their
mic.
stuff. Oh,
Sorry. Yes, no,
what were
that's
you saying?
right. That's right. I mean, speaking of smoking, I watched the movie Pretty in Pink for the first time last night.
Mhm.
It was on cable. I was like, wow, I've never seen this. John Hughes, I should watch this. And like everybody smokes in that movie. They're like literally in gym class. There's a character smoking. It's like, wow, it just feels so
That's
uh, uh,
hilarious.
a lost moment in time for the better.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. I love, I love this. Like, oh wow, look at that. The guy's all right. He's like, all of a sudden, Clark's got like dirt and mud all over his face. Like, that's wonderful. Let's go to work. I love it.
This too, making Jimmy a little bit more. He calls Clark CK,
Mhm.
a little bit more like big brother little brother
Totally.
relationship, as opposed to golly, Mister Kent.
I like this take on Jimmy Olsen. It makes me sad
We're
that.
watching on mute, but can you hear the sexy sax music?
That's so funny.
Sorry, you were saying Jimmy?
No, I like him. I thought, yeah, you can make that character either a little too annoying, like gee whiz,
Yeah.
like chasing someone around, or. But I
Jiminy
thought
Jillikers.
yeah, like they. But I thought he's kind of perfect. It makes me sad he didn't get to continue.
Yeah, and I like the other guy. I think was fine. I didn't dislike him. He was in that. Do you remember that Dungeons and Dragons movie with Marlon Wayans? Do you remember that?
I remember it exists. I don't know I ever saw it.
Yeah. So he was the lead in that,
Oh, okay.
which was after this show ended. I'm pretty sure.
Probably. That feels like a 2002 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
We were talking about Lex Luthor earlier. There's a comic book story that John Byrne did where it's Lex Luthor is at like a diner and he has this waitress takes his order. She's like, "Oh my gosh, Lex Luthor!" And he's like, "Yeah, I know exactly who you are. You're so and so and so and so, and your husband this and that." And he's like, "I'm willing to help you out. I'll give you like whatever millions of dollars if you spend one night with me, and it'll take care of all your financial problems and everything else." And he's like, "I'm going to be out in my car for 15 minutes, and if you don't come out, then I'll know that you're not interested, and I'll leave." And he leaves, and she's like agonizing, and she's calling her husband. She doesn't know what to do, and then her coworker is like, "Oh, he left. He's gone now."
hmm.
And Lex Luthor's in his car, and his driver's like, "Oh, you almost waited the whole 15 minutes this time." And he's like, "Yeah, this one needed a little more work, and like now for the rest of her life, she's gonna wonder what choice she would have made, and it's just gonna destroy her."
Wow. Dude, as you were telling me that, I was like leaning forward, like
Right?
what is gonna happen? Wow,
You know,
that was a good little short story you just told me.
and it like perfectly sums up that version of Lex Luthor,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And that's who John Shea is playing,
Yeah.
you know,
Totally.
right?
So now
And it's
why
wildly different for like Michael Rosenbaum on Smallville. He's a very different, very sympathetic version of Lex. I mean, there's
mm,
different ways of approaching the character, you know?
yeah. Well, I was just gonna ask, so why did he not come back after season 1?
I think he got tired of the commute because he was on the East Coast and he was going back and forth,
Oh, okay.
you know, and yeah, because he had a multi-season contract. They ended up, this is a spoiler, I guess, but like they ended up like quote unquote killing him off at the end of the first season,
Oh,
and
wow.
but of course no one dies in these things, right? So he ends up coming back as a clone of himself or something like that. He
Mm.
ended up making, I think, over the course of the next 3 seasons, he made 3 more appearances.
Oh, that's all, huh?
Yeah. So it's
Wow.
a shame because in this entire first season, he's always in the background. He's like kind of the Moriarty, you know?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And there's like a Lex Luthor plot in every episode. And I think that really works because again, they're really playing up this idea of Lois is completely, you know, won over by his, the front that he's put up.
Mhm.
She doesn't realize and again, Clark is like, you got it, this guy's a piece of shit, but of
Mhm.
course she's like, oh, you're just jealous. And I mean, they did a really good job with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say he's so
you know?
good. I mean, they've found a really solid singular version of this character, live action. It's a shame. This is fun.
Yeah.
Getting the Chinese food from China.
Now I'm pretty sure that fortune cookies were not a thing in China in
I thought the
1930.
same thing, Zachy. That is so funny. I had the very same thought. I think
I'm like
that's
reasonably certain. I'd have to look it up, but because I
I'm
know that they're an
yeah.
American invention, right?
Yes, yes, that I do know, but yeah, I don't know if that ever caught on anywhere else in the world. That's so funny. And it's just a fun little touch. She's like, "Oh, why is this, fortune cookie written in Chinese?" It's great.
This scene is I love this scene. Just the chemistry they have with each other.
Totally. I mean, yeah,
And
this
she's like,
pilot, I was expecting to like, okay, I'll sit through this and probably have a little bit of trip down memory lane, and then we'll talk about it. But like, I
yeah.
genuinely enjoyed this.
Yeah, I really like, and again, it's the relationship stuff, I
Yep.
think that's what really works. Like you have to buy that th- you want these two to end up together. Like we all know that they're perfect for each other. They need to realize it,
Mhm.
you know.
I was looking up the trivia, and it said on the map when he's leaving Metropolis to go to China, it shows him leaving basically from Scranton, Pennsylvania. That's where they put
Oh,
Metropolis on the
interesting.
map. So I was wondering,
Interesting.
how do they handle that? I mean, where is it supposed to be located in the US? Do they ever really allude to that in the comics? Like, do they, or is it always sort of like Springfield? It's like, yeah, it's somewhere in the US.
I mean, I always kind of assume it's an East Coast city.
I always kind of figured it was New York, really, but
That yeah. I mean, I don't, it's funny because yeah, in Smallville, the television show Smallville, it's in Kansas, which is freaking stupid.
what?
Yeah,
Metropolis?
so it's like
Oh.
yeah, so essentially Smallville is a suburb of Metropolis,
Ah,
which I hate. I
yeah,
despise that.
it doesn't compute with what we know of the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when this show aired in syndication and the pilot was cut up into 2 parts, this is the break of part 1 right
Oh, I
here.
could see that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm googling where is Smallville located. I'm just kind of seeing what like Wikipedia has to say about it.
mhm.
So it says in Superman #2, Fall of 1939, Metropolis was actually placed in the U.S. state of New York. So
Hmm,
that's as of 1939, and that's kind of where I would put it. Yeah, definitely
yeah,
on the East Coast.
okay.
Frank Miller has said that Metropolis is New York in the daytime, Gotham City is New York at night. I kind of like that.
I like that.
Uh, I don't like that in the Snyderverse they made Metropolis and Gotham City adjacent to each other. I don't like that either.
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
Love this, by the way. And like that he
yeah.
had a name,
Yep, yep.
good stuff. For people who are not watching along, which I have to assume is probably harder to find to watch, but basically they're at a crime scene, and the informant from earlier, they found him dead, and the cop is just like, "Hey, get the bag of meat out of here," And Clark's like, "Hey, he had a
Easy,
name."
buddy.
Yeah. I love that. Good character stuff.
That actor, by the way, who played Dr. Platt, he's another one of those hey that guy
Mhm.
actors.
Yes.
Kenneth
Yeah.
Tiger.
Yep.
I
Um,
mean, I don't even know how many shows I've seen him in, you know?
yeah, I looked him up earlier just on IMDb, and it was just, I mean, all the way up till now. I mean, he just appears in everything.
Still acting, yeah. Yeah, he's in Dope Sick, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Which I just watched recently.
yeah. So now this we get a similar moment from Man of Steel here, right? Where he's
I
basically
was about
like,
to say.
yeah, where he's like,
I
what
was
am I
like,
supposed to? Yeah, yeah. No,
people give Kevin Costner so much shit, and Jonathan Kent, very similar moment here, where
he
she's
doesn't.
like, "Well, Jonathan, what was he supposed to do? Let him die?" And he doesn't respond.
Yeah, he doesn't say maybe, but he doesn't
Yep.
say he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know.
That's it. This is funny right here, by the way. I thought
Yeah,
you'd be naked.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny though, because I was like, it's a funny moment, but it also makes it that much harder for her not to realize Superman is Clark Kent.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. This is kind of funny too. All the junk food and stuff. This made me laugh. She opens the fridge.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
It's funny earlier in the episode where Lucy, her sister, is like, Lois, you're 26 and time is passing by. I'm like, oh, 26. You're just a kid, you know?
I know. I know. It's funny. But yeah, no, at the end when she does interact with him, this is one of the lesser believable versions where it's like, how can you possibly not know that that's Clark?
That
Yeah, like the
Yeah, I mean,
voice and the face.
when Superman shows up at the end, I always wish she'd be like, "Clark, what are you doing here? And where are your glasses?" You know?
That would be such an awesome. Has that ever happened? I would love that. It's like, oh, that's just what we're doing. Like, no, of course she knows. Like,
I mean, it's funny because if you notice in recent like updates, they've just sidestepped the love triangle because
mm,
I think people just don't find it believable. You know, like in the Snyder films, they didn't even bother having
right.
him hide. You know what I mean? And in Smallville, Lois is like part of his creation of his identity from the beginning.
Mm, interesting.
And I think that's sort of an acknowledgement. Like, and I think there's a way to do it. Again, I think the Reeve movies found probably the best way to handle it. I think,
Yeah.
you know, but I think again in a show like this where Clark is the real guy, then it gets harder. You know,
Yeah. 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 How long
in
till she figures it out in this show?
in this show. So in at the end of the second season, he proposes to her,
Mm. As
and it's
Clark, I assume.
as Clark. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they start dating in the second season,
Okay.
and she it's like Clark, and then it's like to be continued, and that was like the season finale.
Mm.
And then when we come back, beginning of season 3, she's like, "Who's asking, Clark or Superman?" And she takes his
Mm.
glasses off. And she should be like, "I knew from like the second you showed up and you swallowed the bomb or whatever." But I think that I forget in the episode they have a she explains when she figured it out. I don't remember when.
Okay. I was gonna say, I mean, the whole moonlighting of it all, like the will they, won't they? It's like
Real quick,
shows.
brother, real quick.
Yeah.
This actress here, Persis Kambata, she was in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which I don't know if you've ever seen, but she played the bald alien
And
Ilea.
I know
Who
I've seen her image. I've not seen the
you've
film.
seen her image, yeah. So
Yeah.
she passed away actually not too long after this of cancer, but
Hmm.
I knew her from that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying moonlighting.
No, just the will they, won't they of it all is what makes the show crackle and everybody,
Yeah.
want to see what's going to happen. And then it tends to be once the couples get together, they become less interesting and you lose a little bit of that energy. So I imagine with
Yeah,
this show, it was probably really like, oh man, like, you got to be calculated with it. We don't want to lose that steam that we have.
I mean, you know what's funny though is that because what happened with this show is it started out slow in the ratings
Hmm.
because it aired directly opposite Sequest DSV, which is
Uh,
kind of like this forgotten thing now. But I mean, you couldn't escape the hype for that show when it premiered.
I remember being so excited for it because it was like Steven Spielberg presents
Uh,
this cool
yeah,
submarine show.
Roy Scheider, the
Yep.
pilot episode directed by Irvin Kershner.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
and so the two pilots aired opposite each other.
oh, funny. Okay.
So now obviously I'm team Superman all the
Yeah.
way, right? But I was like sort of going back and forth during commercials.
See, this is the
But
show definitely remember liking and watching, and I remember watching Sequest and, like, not sparking to it. Like, it felt
yeah, I
boring
mean
to
that
me.
that show really kicked and scraped its way to 3 seasons,
Yeah.
and actually kind of funny actually. Sequest co-starred Stacey Haydock first season, who was on the Superboy television show. She played Lana Lang. So
Mm.
everything, to quote my friend Michael Bailey, everything connects to Superman eventually. But Sequest started. I mean, it was like the top rated show of that night, the pilot.
Sure.
But the audience drifted away. Lois and Clark started out slow. I know for a fact the pilot was not particularly well rated,
Hmm.
but by the end of the first season, it just kept more and more people were watching, and it was like a genuine word of mouth hit because it was Sequest on NBC, Lois and Clark on ABC, and Murder She Wrote on CBS.
Uh,
And so the expectation was Murder She Wrote will continue to be number one, and Superman and Sequest will fight it out.
right.
But Lois and Clark defeated both of those shows.
Wow.
You know, so it by the second season it was a genuine hit,
Mhm.
and then it broke into the top 20 during the third season, and then in the fourth season it dropped like a stone.
Hmm.
And to the point where after this is true, after the third season ABC renewed it for 2 seasons,
Okay.
4 and 5. The fourth season did so badly that ABC paid a penalty to Warner Brothers so that they didn't have to do the fifth season. That's how badly it did.
Why did they move it or something?
I'll tell you what
Like,
happened. In my opinion, because the people will say, "Oh, it's because they got Lois and Clark together and it lost the tension." No, 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 that's not what did it. What did it is that there was an episode in the third season that was like the wedding of Lois and Clark,
mhm.
but in actuality, it turns out that Clark married like a clone of Lois, and the real Lois was like had amnesia, and it was like this extended soap opera story
Hmm.
that turned people off big time.
That's like, it was all a dream.
Yeah, yeah. So the in the fourth season, fall of '96, they did the actual wedding, and
Mhm.
I think it's called "Swear to God." We're not kidding this time. I think that's the episode's title.
Yeah.
you know, but nobody cared anymore. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
because
you blew it.
you can't do that to the
No.
audience,
No. Yeah, it's almost
right?
like, trying we know this is gonna be a big deal, so maybe we can get away with doing it twice.
Exactly. So that, in
Yeah.
my opinion, that's what did it.
Yeah,
It
I bet
it
you're right.
wasn't that they got it wasn't because the drop it fell so rapidly from a top 20 hit,
Hmm.
you know?
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, but they learned all the wrong lessons. Oh, you can't have the couple get together because that'll take away the tension. Well, it's
Mhm.
like I'm sure that's a fact because I know that that's what happened with Moonlighting. But I
Yeah.
think I think there were other factors at play here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that I'm sure I'd be pissed as a viewer.
Yeah, you know.
Hmm.
So people get upset about in Superman Returns. He's just like stalking Lois.
Uh-huh. Yes, I thought the same thing. Yes. I had that same it's very similar, him sort of, like,
Right?
hovering outside her window.
Yep.
Yeah. But, yeah, this is an interesting angle, like, with, Lex kinda into her and
Yeah. So this was new, courtesy of this show.
mhm.
And I think it works just because John Shea is relatively younger and a little bit more dashing.
Mhm.
I think Lex Luthor having hair was sort of a new angle. I think only
Sure.
later on when he came back for his guest appearances, the cloning process made him lose his hair.
I assumed that was gonna happen later in the show,
Yeah,
like, some sort of, accident would give him
yeah.
his signature look.
Yeah, it's interesting because just a couple years before, you had on the Superboy TV show, you had Sherman Howard playing Lex, and he's I don't know what you'd know him from. He's I know you'd recognize him if you saw him.
Mhm.
He's one of the bad guys in Lethal Weapon 2. He's like one of the South African guys, and there's a Seinfeld episode, which I know you say you don't necessarily remember every episode, but he plays a guy who, um, Jerry and Kramer are watching a surgical procedure on him, and like a
Oh,
junior
yeah, the
mint
Mento.
gets so he's the guy, the junior mint who,
Ah, or Junior Mint. Yeah, 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 not Mento. Yeah.
yeah. Um, but he played just a batshit crazy Lex Luthor, and he was fantastic.
Huh.
You know, very different take.
Speaking of Seinfeld, I mean, Terry Hatcher, right? She was in, like,
Yeah,
a pretty
they're
iconic
real and
episode.
they're spectacular.
Yeah. Yeah, which actually reminds me that I forgot about it. She was, in the early internet days, right? There was, like, a picture of her, sort of like a
From
sexy
Lois and Clark.
picture. Yeah, like, wrapped in a Superman cape, and it was a
That's
big
right.
deal that that was, like, the most downloaded image ever on the internet at the
Yeah,
time.
that's
Like,
right.
so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was a photo, because they were really hyping up like the sexiness of the show. I remember
Yeah.
that, all the promos, and so that was her idea, where she was like, "Hey, how about a picture like this?"
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, it briefly broke the internet.
Yeah, yeah, the first thing to break the internet.
First of many,
Yeah, yeah.
because Terry Hatcher, and then remember, Cindy Margolis was like queen of the internet for a little while there.
Yeah, that name rings a bell. It's fun maybe it's crazy, but I don't really remember. What is this?
So the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
the whole plot line,
Yeah.
about the space station. I was thinking about that as I was watching it. I was like it like I track with it. It all makes sense what Luther's scheme is and everything. But also I like that it's not, the stakes are relatively contained.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels, sort of this earth, but slightly heightened, which I think is perfect
Y-
for this
y-
show.
yes, right.
Wait, was that woman, by the way, who had the girl who had the disease that they were hoping that this space stuff could help fix? Was she someone, or like she felt like a cameo or something? Her caretaker or
Oh,
grandmother or mother, whoever she was.
well, that's the wife of the character is the wife of Dr. Platt, who
Yeah, but was
died.
the actress someone? She just felt like she stuck out, not in a bad way, but I was like, "Oh, is this someone I'm supposed to recognize?" Or
That's interesting. I don't know.
I don't know why I felt
Let
that
me
way,
find-
but
I can find out.
yeah.
Reform School. It was a bum rap. That's a funny,
Yeah.
because this is like badass Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, I know, yeah, yeah, I like that, yeah, like I said, I like this take. I love this guy in the
That
background.
actor.
The
Oh yeah.
He kinda looks like, what's his name from, Karate Kid? Reese or
Oh yeah, yeah, Crease. Yeah.
Reese, yeah. Sorry, what were we saying?
Um, no, I was just commenting on his like cut off sleeves, and I was like, wow, that's a very specific look.
Yeah, he he
Uh,
he looks everyone else looks kind of timeless in this, and he looks very like 1991.
that's hilarious.
1991, muscle. Do you ever find, by
Yeah,
the way, like oh, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
well, I was like, she goes from like she goes real evil real quick. This
Yes, I know.
Dr. Baines.
Yeah. Yeah, pulling the handgun out. No, I was just gonna say, do you ever would have showed Lex, cutting that cigar? Sometimes, TV, you're just like, "Oh, man, a cigar. A nice cigar sounds good. It looks like that'd be fun." And then when you're around them, you're like, "Yeah, these things are disgusting." It's like
Well, it's like when Bart and those guys get their fake IDs and they go to Moe's. Remember that?
yes. Yeah, I think it'll be so cool to be able to get into a bar, and then they see how depressing and sad everyone is inside.
Sorry, Mr. S. You know I got to ask, and they give them the. They just shove them away.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up the actress who plays Mrs. Platt.
I don't know
Oh,
why.
she
I don't
died.
know why I got that sense, or that I
I mean, we must have seen her in something, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, nothing. I'm looking at her filmography. Nothing really jumps out.
Yeah. Lois kicking a little ass.
Yeah, I was about to say you got to have like the ass kicking Lois scene.
Yeah. Look at that. That's a cool shot, right? Where it like spins around to the gun coming into frame. I mean, that just
Hmm.
feels like Spielbergy.
Well,
Love that
Robert
stuff.
Butler. I mean, again, he knew how to pilot a show. You know.
Yeah. But like you said at the very beginning, I mean, it's very cinematic.
Yeah. By
Oh,
the way,
oh,
Clark in,
yeah.
in this pilot, he's in the pilot, and I think the first episode, his hair is slightly longer, a little bit longer, not
Mm.
not quite mullet, but a little longer, and that inadvertently sort of ties in with at the time Superman had the long hair in the comics,
Ah,
um,
interesting.
which was not a mullet, despite what people think. It was just long hair, but
Right.
just roughly. Although a couple episodes in, he cuts his hair. But okay, so this right here, I don't think you even need me to tell you. I think you could tell just from watching it uh, that it was not in the original version that aired. When he's about to leave, and then Perry White's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
Oh, yes. Yes, this felt very I mean, it's kind of funny because, like, why would he be by the window? But yeah, it goes nowhere.
It goes nowhere, and it doesn't even make sense because he just left, and he's conducting a meeting, and
Yes,
he's like,
right.
"Where are you going?" Right. So then, why would he be like, "Hey, hold on, let me see what he's doing"? It does. It actually doesn't make sense at all,
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
and it and it's really it's like very obviously a deleted scene, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Interesting. I wonder why they added all
yeah,
this. I mean, I guess to make it feature length, but like I say, I mean, I really did enjoy this. Genuinely enjoyed it, but it like I said, it dragged a little occasionally, and I guess I didn't
yeah.
realize it was because of these extra scenes, but I think subconsciously that's what was doing it.
Yeah, it's because again, as it aired, it was interesting because it wasn't it wasn't 90 minutes when it aired, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
90 minutes with commercials. It was an hour and 45 minutes. I remember that.
Mm, oh, hmm.
And so that last 15 minutes they just filled it with like EPK stuff.
Ah, hmm.
You know, but I very distinctly remember that. And so when they re-aired this, they showed it in two parts. And there
Mm.
was all this stuff that they had added, and I was like, "Well, it's this is funny." By the way, his reaction where she's like, "Or what?" And he's just like, "I don't know."
Yeah. Yeah.
He just kind of shrugs.
Yeah. Yeah. That must
And
be
she,
so
she
annoying.
rolls.
Yeah.
That's a great moment,
It's a bummer though, knowing you could take them all out, but it's like you
right?
have to. I do love the scene though where they're all tied up and then things get hairy. He's like, "Oh, okay," and he just rips the chains off. You know?
Yeah. Well, as he's talking to her, it's really funny. You just see him; he just slips the chains right off. He's just like he knows he can get him out of there whenever.
Yeah,
Like right there, look at him. He's already.
yeah,
But it's not like he gets up. He's just like, no, let's just talk. You know.
yeah. Right, right. I just like spending time with you. Wait, going back to Perry, I was going to say the Great Shades of Elvis because it used to be Great Caesar's Ghost, right?
That's right.
So, I mean, yeah, just sort of an updated take on that, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think it totally works for this version of the character.
Hmm.
What's interesting is I remember when this show was first announced, or at least when I first read about it, it was in the pages of Wizard magazine,
Wizard,
and
yes,
there's a blast from the past,
yeah.
and they were like, oh, and Perry White is going to be black in this one,
Hmm.
and I was like, what? Perry White's not black? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't care, but you
I
can
was like, oh wow,
and, and I posted on the internet, which didn't
yes,
exist, but I
it
said,
had
do
just
not
been
open
invented.
until.
Yeah.
No, I was like, oh, okay, but then I remember them casting Lane Smith, who, as far as I know, was not black,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, okay, I guess they didn't do that, you know. But my point is, we ended up getting a black Perry White eventually with Lawrence Fishburne,
Yep.
and the internet reacted in its usual equanimous fashion. I'm sure nothing was said about it at all.
No, of course not. I wonder if they had someone in mind then, and then that just didn't pan out.
That was my thought, actually. It's kind of interesting because I could be wrong about this, but there was a thought of maybe having James Earl Jones playing Perry White.
Okay.
Although he did end up appearing in at the tail end of this season as Franklin Stern, who ends up buying the Daily Planet.
Wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah, so they're like the season finale was like a two-parter where Lex Luthor buys the Daily Planet,
Mhm.
and that's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And then basically Perry White goes to another investor to buy it out from under Lex Luthor, and that ends up being James Earl Jones. I think that's the only appearance he ever made on this show, though.
Hmm.
It's kind of like, remember in Superman 4 where the planet gets bought out by the tabloid guy,
Yeah, yeah.
and Perry White's like, well, I knew I had to save the planet, so I went and got a loan. Which, like, that's not the greatest solution.
Right.
So this scene is kind of nice because, I mean, obviously we get her being vulnerable, right?
Mhm.
But you can imagine sort of the screenwriting math that goes into it, where Lois has to be this percent badass, this percent vulnerable. And I mean,
Mm,
like, because expectations placed on female characters, I'm sure that you've got on the executive level being like, she can't be too much of a bitch,
mhm, mhm.
right? Like, unfortunately, that's just that conversation always has to happen.
Yeah, and that's I mean, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I just feel the writing plus Terry Hatcher, like, they make her feel like a real human, like, she
Mhm.
is tough. Like, even because she's having this vulnerable moment, I never doubt that she's still, you know, tough as nails Lois Lane, She just feels
Right.
like a rounded out human being.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I love this. Something about this made me laugh how when these two chemicals, it's like she
You can't-
yeah, it's and then they're like, it's not a very precise like, she should probably run is what I'm saying. Like, these 2 things are dribbling onto the ground. It's not like you're in these, like, tubes that are going to connect at a certain point. Kinda dribbling and get a mess on the ground. I'm like, "I don't know when that's gonna blow up. You should run, lady."
I like the earlier where her three rules, and she's like, I violated all of them, and he's like, oh, you slept with somebody you work with? She's like, and he's like, wasn't Jimmy, was it? Like,
Yeah, right. I just kinda felt bad 'cause she's like, "Ew, no."
yeah, yeah. He was actually awake the whole time. He was just pretending to be knocked out
Right, right.
to hide his tears.
Yes, that it goes to his face like Daryl Strawberry, like a single tear going down his face.
That's See, there's the low res suddenly. I look at Lex Luthor's dickishness. He rewinds and watch it.
That didn't even occur to me. You're so right.
I love this too. Like the look at the headline, and everybody's like applauding and cheering. I'm like, that's
Scientist dies in fiery helicopter crash, and then the shot is 2 champagne glasses clinking over that headline of her face. You're so dude, it didn't even occur to me. You're so right. Like, they're blowing, like, party, horns and all that.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It's so
man.
funny.
That is funny.
Uh,
Uh. I love that, by the way, when the explosion happens, I love the little touch where he sort of does, like, a big leap, like a little bit of flying to sort of get them away, and he can kind of explain it away to them where she's like, "Wait, it felt like we were flying for a minute."
right. Oh yeah, the force of the blast. Yeah,
Yeah, that was good.
that's the ticket.
Yeah.
The year after this show started, I joined my school newspaper,
Uh-huh.
and there is no doubt in my mind that this show played a role in my wanting to be part of the newspaper. You
That's
know,
so cool. I love that.
yeah, and here we are, 30 years later, and I still get to be involved in newspaper. So it's like Lois and Clark had that effect on my career.
Yeah, you're an award-winning journalist, Zachy.
Oh, that's just a weird thing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's very nice, but it's I don't. It's hard to process that.
I know, it's weird for you to, like, have to say something after that, but it's true, so I'm gonna say it.
Well, thank
I
you.
think it's cool. Is this actor from a bunch of things too?
Yeah, his name is Clyde Kusatsu.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like whenever you needed a sort of, just like a average everyday looking Asian guy, you would get him.
Right. He just yeah, he's yeah, again, this pilot's just filled with like, oh, that guy.
Hmm. Yeah, he was like I know he was like an admiral on Star Trek or whatever, but he was also on. Oh, by the way, real quick, this is the first time I think I heard um,
Yes.
the hero, right?
Yeah, holding out for a hero. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this song it's not a new phenomenon for this to be sort of overused during montages.
What's funny too is the subtitles. There's the verse, "Where's the streetwise Hercules?"
Hmm.
And the subtitle says, "Where's the streetwise Earth Police?"
Wow, that's weird.
And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Streetwise Earth Police? What? Anyway,
Yeah. It sounds like one of those Jimi Hendrix, or where you confuse the lyrics, like "Excuse me while I kiss this guy" instead
right?
of "Kiss the sky." Someone like who did the closed caption always thought that lyric was Earth Police.
Earth Police. There's a King of Queens where it's instead of forever in blue jeans, Doug thinks it's a Reverend Blue Jeans
That's funny.
about this hip pastor who wears jeans. So
I
this
was kind of
like
feeling bad. Well, I was gonna say just real quick, it's like a montage of Clark's mother making all these different costumes to find the right one for
yeah.
Superman, and I was like, wow. I mean, everything he's trying on—that's a lot of work that she just did. That's
Yeah, I was thinking that exact thing. I was like, man, she's putting in a ton of effort into this.
yeah,
She's obviously a very fast sewer because this is all meant
yes.
to be like an afternoon. But the idea that Ma can't make his costume, that was something Byrne brought in.
Ah,
But here, the thing that's so interesting is that the idea of the Superman symbol being a Kryptonian glyph. Remember, that came in with the 78 movie.
mm.
And it's weird how that has tended to just sort of become now an accepted, like, yeah, that's what it is. That's the explanation.
That makes sense.
But it wasn't, it was not a John Byrne thing. He was like, no, this is something that Clark designed with his parents,
Hmm.
the symbol. But I think to your point, I think it just makes more sense to have that be a Kryptonian symbol.
I mean, in this day and age where we question everything,
Hmm.
just like, why would he just slap an S on himself, like for his name? Like it was like me
Yeah,
going out and putting a giant letter B on.
that's right.
You'd be like, all right, dude.
Well, you don't do that anymore, Brian.
No,
So
no,
just
well, no.
not once you turn 40, he
That's
stops.
right. Yeah, grow that sort of thing.
Now this okay, so the explanation for the glasses is the most shrug, like, like right here. She's like, because they have to lampshade it, the glasses thing. This makes no sense what he's saying.
Wait, sorry, I don't remember
He's
actually.
he's like, it won't be me, see, and he kind of takes his glass, and she's like,
Uh,
oh yeah, okay,
oh yeah,
no,
yeah,
no, that makes no sense.
yeah, yeah.
But
It seems
it's
like
literally it's the show being like, look, we gotta deal with this somehow.
right, right, right.
You know, he's like, it won't be me, and he kind of does like taking his glasses on and off. No, you just look like you without your glasses.
Yeah, yes, yeah. It's funny though, just because because you like the thing, you're willing to go, okay, okay, fine. Like
That's right.
I'll go with that.
I mean, that's what it is. You have to like squint past it, right?
Yeah.
And it's you can almost buy anyone else not
Yes.
recognizing them, but not Lois.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. It's funny.
Yeah. So that actor Clyde Kusatsu, he was. Remember that show that Margaret Cho? She had a sitcom for like a minute.
Kind of.
It's like the first time you had like an Asian American lead in a sitcom. I forget All American Girl. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
It was like right around then.
Okay.
ABC had some weird shows in the 90s. Like
Like what?
like like Grace Under Fire. That was a show that like
Oh
it's
yeah.
right? And there's a show called Phenom with Judith Light and William Devane, like all these like random sitcoms, you know.
I forgot about that.
I guess Grace Under Fire kind of lasted a little while, but a lot of these other shows were one and done.
Yeah.
Now, this too, by the way, Lois sneaks aboard the shuttle. What are
Yes.
the sheer odds that she will happen to be in the room where they've put the bomb?
Right. Right. I was also like, I don't know if I would just cut wires.
Yeah, I was, I was like, cut to the thing blowing up even sooner. You know?
But I like this. Because I hadn't watched this in a long time, I couldn't remember what sort of adventures they get into. But like I
Hmm.
was saying earlier, I like this because this feels a little down to earth, but a little crazy too, a little comic booky.
Yeah,
You know, it's kind of the
yeah,
perfect balance.
definitely. By the time of the second season, it started leaning more in the direction of Batman 66, where you sort of had
Mm.
like, uh, high profile guest casting as villains,
Ah, I see. I see.
villain of the week. Like this is obviously you gotta hit the bird, it's a plane thing
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love how they just like hit that guy too.
for no reason.
No, it's just a guy in tights and a cape. And they're like, ah, Daryl, damn it. I was like, why?
Cut to Daily Planet headline: Man murdered in mob and they're clinking champagne glasses again.
Yeah. Congrats, Jimmy, on your first front page headline. Ah, gee, thanks.
Mob dismembers wise ass at shuttle launch. Like, oh my god.
Right. Reasons unclear.
Yeah, for reasons unclear. See, again, she should be like, Clark, what are you doing here? And why are you dressed like that?
He's so obviously, yeah. But by the way, I did not expect him to eat the bomb and then burp. That did not seem like this show up until this point. Um, but I suppose, I mean, that's kind of budget.
Yeah, hey. It solves the problem.
Yeah.
The line about where the little girl is like, I like your suit, and he's like, oh, thanks, my mom made it. That's we see that again later in the pilot episode of Superman and Lois, where he says he rescues a kid and he says the same thing.
I like that.
Yeah, and I, at the time in the comics, right? Because initially what they said, like, this is pre-crisis, that Superman's suit is made out of his baby blankets,
Right.
and so they're as invulnerable as he is.
Hmm.
And they changed that in the post-crisis, that it is something his mom made. But the reason he wears tights is because he has kind of an electrochemical aura surrounding his body that's about a few millimeters away from his skin that protects him.
Mm.
And so by wearing tights, it like his clothes won't get damaged and stuff.
So he always has to have them on?
Well, like when he's doing super stuff.
Oh, so he generates it
Yeah, he's
when
got like
he's
it's like his own body has this aura around it, and that keeps
interesting.
him invulnerable. And I
Hmm.
guess it works as just an explanation for like why Superman wearing tights, basically.
Yeah, it gets harder and harder to explain. I mean, in this, it feels a little like after they try on the silly costumes and then they settle on this. In this world, I
Yeah,
think this would still feel a little like, huh?
yeah,
So yeah, it's probably in this day and age a harder thing to explain. Because like with the Dark Knight, it's like, well, it's military armor. You know, it's like,
that's
oh,
right.
okay, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean the dark. It's funny. I just rewatched the Dark Knight. I went to the theater last night to watch it with the boys.
Oh yeah, it was Batman Day.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, there's the whole Morgan Freeman as Q.
Yes,
Essentially
yes.
this plate here and this and that. And yeah, you sort of have to explain it because Superman, as originally created, why did he wear tights? Because that's what circus strongmen wore.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
and it's interesting because I think Man of Steel handles it just fine too. Like, no, this is like a Kryptonian suit.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
You see the others wearing something
Yeah.
similar.
So they explain things in these ways that I think works.
Yeah.
Now this I have to say I love this scene. Um, I think it just works as like you know it's like the whole rest of the show is just built around this,
Right.
where she's in love with Superman and we want her to be in love with Clark.
Mhm. By the way, that effect flying through the window, that was really good.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know how they did it, with, like, cables, because they show that there's a top to the window.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Just the look on Lois's face. She's in love,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
But see, again, so there's a couple of these moments where she's like, "Oh, I think you owe me the exclusive," and he's like, "Is that the rule?" I'm like, "Why don't you just tell her you're Clark, idiot?" Because it's so obviously a callback to her rules, right?
Right, right, right. That's funny.
This effect too here, where he exits the window and then it obviously turns into animation right
Yeah.
there. And I'm like, for 1993, that's pretty impressive.
I agree. I agree. I thought that earlier too when he gives the homeless guy the dollar or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
He
that's right.
did a
Yeah.
similar sort of thing. I was like, "Oh, it looks pretty good."
See this here where Lois comes up with his name. That's also been a pretty consistent thing
Mm,
where she's the one who calls him Superman, and then that's just the name that sticks.
mm, hmm.
Because otherwise, you can't have him be like, "Yes, you may call me Superman."
Right,
I
right.
don't know. It's kind of dickish.
Yeah.
So these last three scenes, so the one we just saw with Superman and Lois and the Daily Planet, this scene with Superman and Lex, and then coming up Clark and Lois. It's like those are the three like
Mhm.
setting up the rest of the series.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I did like this. Like, "Well, you have a foil now,"
Yeah, exactly.
you know? We'll be seeing you.
And again, it's when you think about how Lex had been portrayed on screen before, especially with Gene Hackman, kind of uh, Batman 66 energy, John Shea is playing kind of a different lane.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, no pun intended. And I think that's what works. That's what makes this version of the character unique. Like it's these mind games.
Right.
There's an episode. It's like the third episode, I think, where or maybe the second one, where he Lex has basically set up these like traps throughout the city that are just about testing Superman's strength and his speed, and
Mhm.
and it's these mind games of like where Superman has to like eventually these tests are going to cause people to get killed because
Right.
eventually he won't be able to save somebody. And what does he do then? And Lex is like, well, I'm just going to keep doing it. So you decide.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I was gonna say, with that in mind, you said moving forward, it got a little like 66 Batman Villain of the Week.
Yeah,
Were
certainly
they
second season onward. Yeah. Oh, actually, real quick,
Yeah.
this right here. Okay. Now, again, if you ever need to find me, just look up. Again, why don't you just tell him you're Clark Kent at that point, right? But like when you think about it, like to me, that's like a directing note, right? Because I would be like, don't play it like that,
Yeah.
right? You just say it sort of matter of factly.
Yeah, it was a weird read.
Yeah, because it only works if because I'm Clark Kent and you said I like that everybody has to look up to see me, so
Mhm, mhm,
right. The only way it works is if as Superman you're like, oh, if you're looking for me, just look up. And
mhm.
but we as the audience are like, see, because the thing that he said before.
Yeah. He's not very good at this. He's like it's like he wants them to know.
That's right.
Lois and Lex.
It's like or the Rock, I think, where he played Superman on SNL, and it was like a similar thing where he keeps forgetting to like hide his secret identity.
Right.
Wow, you were saying something. Sorry, I think I interrupted you.
Oh, no, I was curious when you said, the 66 Batman, Villain of the Week sort of thing. So, did they start making up villains for this show, or did they just dig into, you know
They they definitely made up a lot. I can't remember off the top of my head the ones they made up, but you had in terms of like somewhat familiar Superman villains, you had Bronson Pinchot as
Uh,
the prankster.
uh-huh,
You had what's his name, Sherman Hemsley as the Toy Man.
Wow.
They had Peter Boyle and what's his name, Bruce Campbell as like gang lords, you know.
Mm,
There were other Emma Sam's, like all these like kind of like a who's who of like 80s and maybe some 70s and early 90s actors,
sure.
because it was a lot of like, oh, so and so guest stars as, you know, on Lois and Clark.
Hmm.
They had, I remember in the first season they had David Warner make a cameo as Jor-El, in like a flashback sequence.
Okay.
That's actually kind of cool. Like, that's what I'm saying, man. The first season is very good. I think it does a really good job of keeping it close to the chest and slowly ladling out the mythology. You know, so Clark only finds out in the second episode like where he's from, and you know, and there's like a running thing about figuring out what kryptonite is and things like that. Like they did a good job with that.
Oh, interesting.
Uh yeah. Uh you know, I think it's like the, you know, halfway through the season that he first comes across kryptonite, you know, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then it all culminates in the big Lex Luthor buying the Daily Planet story.
Okay.
And if you know, and the first season was built so that it ended. Like it wasn't a season ending cliffhanger, it was a two-parter and then it ends. And it's like if there was nothing after that, it would still be just fine.
Hmm.
I like I said, I don't mind the latter seasons, but I definitely think it fell off both in terms of production value and writing.
Right.
And so what I always tell people is just watch the first season and you'll be fine. And it's and nowadays we almost prefer that. Like it's just like a here's 20 episodes, you know?
Yeah, limited series. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always tell people, oh, watch the first season. I don't, if you're a Superman fan, you're not going to be disappointed by the first season. You know,
Yeah. I think I
I would,
might. I very much enjoyed this, so I could see going through this.
yeah, without any, you know, I don't feel the need to hedge it. I think you would like the remainder of the first season. You know, there's a few sort of filler episodes, but I think on the whole, it follows up on the mission statement laid out by this pilot episode very well.
Sure.
But you know, going back to what we were saying before, I mean, the nice thing, just this pilot. If there was nothing else after this, I think you've got a really good Superman movie,
Hmm. I agree.
and it 30 years later, it still holds up really well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, TV has come such a long way. I mean, now it's so cinematic and expensive, and Game of Thrones costs millions and millions of dollars per episode. And so we are conditioned in some sort of way to look at TV like we have the same expectations as we do for like blockbuster films. But
Yeah.
looking back at this, I'm still kind of impressed. I mean, you have the little things where they have to get around it, like I say, with him eating the bomb. It's so kind of quick and weird, and like instead of like some huge big bang going out with a bang kind of ending. But
Yeah.
that stuff, aside, like yeah, I think it holds up completely as like a great little yarn.
I agree, and it really shows how the Superman mythology, which I often say is it's elastic.
Hmm. Hmm.
It can
Hmm.
You can turn it into a big epic action movie. You can turn it into a rom com like this,
Right. Right.
or you know, a CW teen soap opera. You know,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of things you can do, and that's I think that's what makes it special. You know, as we record this, we're one day removed from Batman Day, and that's all well and good, but you know, as much as I love Batman, Superman will always be my boy. So
Yep.
I'm glad I had the chance to revisit this show with you.
Yeah. Same. And that's the thing too, because I haven't watched a ton of Superman stuff, but I like Superman. So I think I'm always looking for something good that I can enjoy because I like it's just so much different than Batman. I like the story, I like the character, I like the tone, but I don't seek it out as often. So I get a little excited when there's something good with
Yeah.
Superman in it that I can delve into.
And worth saying, you know, the legacy actors in Superman are always continue on, and you know, they tend to always have actors who were in previous versions show up in
Mm,
later ones. So on Lois and Clark during the in the season finale of the first season, Phyllis Coates, who played Lois in the first season of the George Reeves series, she shows up as Lois's mom.
mm.
And then later in the series, you had Jack Larson, who played Jimmy in the old 50s show. He shows up. But as far as this show carrying forward, Lois Lane uh, on Smallville, who's played by Erica Durance, her mom was played via videotape recording by Terry Hatcher.
Ah,
And Dean Cain showed up on Smallville as a villain in one of the episodes, and then he was on the Supergirl television show as Supergirl's adopted father. So it's kind of interesting. They always make this effort to carry the actors forward in different incarnations.
I like that.
The character of Cat Grant appeared on Supergirl as played by Callista Flockhart. So that character
Oh,
too is
huh.
yeah.
How funny.
But Lois and Clark has its place in the mythology. I know that a lot of people listening to this show have strong memories of this show, either positive or negative, and I certainly would love to hear your thoughts on what we had to say. Maybe we missed something. If so, please let us know. You can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. If you like what we're doing, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review or leave a star rating. Every little bit helps, and we would appreciate that so very much. And I know, Brian, you and I, we got other commentaries planned, so
Oh yeah.
fingers crossed that we can drop those soon. But I think this is a good place to wrap things up.
Yeah, this was a blast. I've kind of between this and the Flash, these are sort of forgotten things that I really enjoyed when I was younger. So it's been nice going back and revisiting them.
Well, I'll tell you, one of these days, because we have swiftly run out of Batman movies, except one Batman movie we have never done in live action, which is the old 1966 Adam West Batman movie.
Is that wow? I can't believe that.
I feel like that shows that movie, the time will come for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I have very fond memories of that one.
That'll be a fun one to revisit. So,
Yeah.
hey, maybe someday, not right away, but eventually we'll
Yeah.
get there. But on behalf of Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been our movie film commentary for Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you next time.